Anyway, so speaking about mother,
Yeah.
right? Speaking about moms, all right. So let's get into the bulk of what this is about. So a couple of a couple of episodes ago, not our episode, but one I did with my homeboy, we were talking about motherhood and how motherhood, everybody loves their mom. My mom is one of my best friends. I love my mom dearly, and I think back on my childhood, and just how I was always excited to see my mom, and then I give her a big hug. And I was talking to her the other day. She said that young girls today are bums. She she said that they just want children. They don't want to be mothers. She said that when she was a mom, being a mom was the most important thing to her and all her peers. And I see these days, I see that a lot of young women, they just they like having children. They like
Look
the
of it,
thought. You say what?
just for the look of
Yeah,
it, and maybe dress
yeah,
up
yeah.
and
They had the child to take maternity pictures and say, "Yay, me! You made me a mom," and all that. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty of really being a mother, they're just not. They don't cut the mustard. So I was like, yeah, I agreed with her and all that, but just I wouldn't be the person that I am today without my mom. My dad was very hard on me, and I love him for it, and that's what fathers do. But there were times where I was just like, my mom was always my safe space to run to. You know, so tell it, like, how do you feel about just motherhood in general? Like, what do you think about it? I think you would be more suitable for this than me. I'm just, like I said, I'm looking at this as a son. So as a mom, what's your
oh,
thoughts?
being a mother is everything. Like being a mom is my life, and just as soon as I had my daughter, I feel like she gave me life and a love. She gave me a love that I never knew. That every mother experiences that. I don't see how you can't. Like as soon as you give birth to your child, like you literally have to experience it as a mother, um, and it's not easy, but it's definitely like it's very rewarding. Um, there are times I've chopped it up with you where I feel like because my life is me being a mother, and there are times where I get caught up into it where I lose track as being a woman, and I think it's obvious with my stories or with little things that I say here and there. It would never change how I feel as being a mother. Like for the most part, I love being a mom. Um, but I like I said, like kind of how we was talking last week in the live. I just have my own little individualized story, but my daughter is my everything.
Yeah,
Like she's
that
my life.
I think that for for mothers that are really vested in the job, telling them they're a bad mother is the worst thing you can tell them. That will crush them. So why do you think that so many mothers have turned so cold these days? Like, what's the deal with that? What do you
Turn
think?
cold towards the child, or just being cold as women in general, even
Just
towards the man, even towards the father or the husband.
just just toward, I see a lot of women that are not, they're not motherly.
We've
You see that?
yeah, like lost the nurturing instincts in general.
Yeah, because the lines of morality have been blurred. You you don't you don't portray. Okay, so you're a woman.
Yes.
So if you're around men, you're a woman. You're a woman, right?
Yeah.
So when a man sees a woman, he's like, yeah, I'm like, dang, she fine. She pretty. I wanna get to.
I'm a sweetheart. I'm a softie. You can't tell on here, but I'm a softie. I'm a
Nah, I can tell. I can tell. Like, Nah, for real, for real. I'm good at evaluating. I can see through a lot of fluff that people put up, but I'm not saying you put up fluff, but you know, I had to learn to really just look at people for who they are. But
But in real life, I don't know, like with the overall images I have online, but in real life, I'm a sweetheart.
yeah,
Like I'm
I
definitely
believe,
I'm a woman of hospitality, so like I'm just really very very I make everybody feel safe,
yeah,
and that's not from being strong. It's just from being a sweetheart, from being nurturing, I would say.
yeah, I believe. But what I'm saying is, when you're around your children, you know, especially okay, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. I'm trying to get my thoughts together. My mom to me is mom. She's always been mom. And when I grew up, I'd be having conversations with mom, and I'd be getting frustrated because I'm just like, how can you not understand what I'm telling you? And then if I close my eyes, I would think that I'm arguing with one of the females that that I used to deal with. And then an epiphany hit me. I'm like, mom was a girl before she was mom. So then then now it's like I'm wearing the shoes of my father, and I see everything that he was frustrated about, and all the things that he was trying to work through, and all that. But what I'm saying is, for mom was mom, and moms, a mom will never emit any type of sexual energy around her child. The the maternal instinct curtails all that.
But not as of
That's
lately.
not what I see today.
Yes,
I,
I get what I
I
get what
don't see
you're
that
saying.
today. There was one video a long time ago, not a long time ago, but it was like a year ago or two. But it was a mother asking her son about, does he think that his mom is pretty and sexy and all that stuff and chocolatey. Oh, he was talking about the kind of woman he wants. Like he was saying that I want a woman that's you know that's that's pretty and chocolatey and sexy. And he said, "Yeah, you want a woman like me, right?" And he was like, "No, mom, you kind of big. I don't want a woman like you."
Oh God.
The boy was five though.
Oh,
The boy was five. Why are you boosting yourself as an object of sexuality to a 5-year old? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. You understand what I'm
yeah.
trying to say?
No, I get it.
So where did all that come from? Like where is that?
I would say with everything that's been going on in America, just the American culture and too much freedom and lack of leadership from men. Um, just
Random name.
yes, but women are are evil, you know, and it's like because I have to do my part 2 video, but you talk about like abortions and you talk about lack of sisterhood, just the connection of a woman, it's not there, and it's evil. And I don't think women understand their power. Sometimes they get so wrapped up in their own individual emotions and stuff like that, just being impulsive. And I just think that like women have power, we know this, and without that divine femininity, everything crumbles. And just to add, it was a time I think like last year and 2 years ago, um, black men would say, "Oh, black women are doing witchcraft," and this is just one element, right? And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Black women do witchcraft?" Because when I was coming up, I was used to them saying that about African women and Haitian women. I never heard about that, like with Black American women. So I was like kind of in denial in a sense, right? And I look on YouTube, I'm not even asking for it. I look on Instagram and, you know, I'm seeing all these different videos from different people like, oh, you know, black women are having the sage, having the incense and doing these rituals and doing all these things, which it's an evil spirit nonetheless. And, yeah, and that's like, Pat Daddy saying emotional incest. That's another element as well. Um, it's just women are I blame women for actually putting children and men in danger. Like it's that's how serious to go into what you're saying, like the lack of nurturing. That's how dangerous women have become. And you can't always, even though I'm saying to you on one end that you have lack of leadership from men, you can't blame men for everything that women are doing, because there's a time and a place for accountability for everybody, both men and women, not the children. The children have to come up correct under the man and woman together.
You know what I learned about being a man? I
What's that?
I have way more power than what society has led me to believe at growing up. If I didn't give women the attention, then
Are you lighting
they
up
was,
sage?
huh?
Are you lighting up sage?
Am I lighting up stage?
It
Me?
looked like you were lighting up something.
Nah,
I
I don't smoke.
know you don't smoke. That's why I said sage or like incense or a
I
candle.
don't do, I don't do none of that
I know.
silly stuff. But if if we stop, if men stop giving these women the attention, because what I mean by that, if if I would date a woman with a child and she would she'd be acting a certain way around the child and myself, you kind of disrespecting all parties. You're disrespecting me as a man. You're disrespecting the child, and you're disrespecting yourself. So as a man, I should have been like, "What are you doing? You need to stop that shit right now." And if she gave me pushback, I'll just be like, "Okay, well, I'm gone." But young men are not. We're not trained to move like that. We're trained to put up with bullshit from women. So if the men stop giving these women attention, you know the things that men complain about, if we stop mingling with the women that did these things, a lot of these things will stop. So they do it because they can get away with it. A
Yes.
lot of times, a lot. This is what I've learned, and this is my anecdotal experience. Women are kind of like children in a sense to where they crave order and they want order, but they need somebody to implement that order. And if you don't implement that order, if there's no implementation of that order, it's gonna be total chaos in their environments and their lives. Their lives are gonna be all over the place.
Does
And I'm not saying
that
that
go into the male leadership that's definitely necessary all around?
that's the role of a man
Yeah.
to bring and implement order. You
Because I
know,
perfectly understand what you're saying, because I don't have male leadership in that, relationship wise. And I feel like I'm all over the place, honestly. No, I really, I'm not trying, like, I really, like, I feel like once I have a man, I could just relax, I could take it easy. But until then, I'm going to constantly be paranoid and be unease. And I think when my daughter sees me happy, um, things will be better. I'm
expound on that.
I'm like pushing.
Expound on that. When you have a man that you can take it easy, like, what do you mean by that?
I feel like I'm the type of individual that, like, I'm always running around, ripping and running, and just I can't. I'm always worried. I'm always worried. I don't really relax too much as I should. And lately I am teaching myself. That's a part of self care, so I'm getting in tune with that. But I'm always worried and paranoid. Like, how's this going to be? Is this going to be okay? Am I, how's my daughter going to be? Or what's this? How's my family? Or what? I'm always constantly worried about everything, and every little inch, every little detail, I got to make sure I got to take care of all these things, and it's to the point where it messes with my moods, and it makes me very emotional, very mood swingish. Sometimes I get delusional, like, oh, f everybody, I don't care. I don't, and I talk like this too. I talk like this in my stories. I just get very emotional, and sometimes I just shut down. And I just um I've even been asked questions before, like, because I love to travel. Are you traveling to travel, or are you like kind of running away? And I definitely travel just to travel. That's for sure. Like, because I love traveling. I love museums and aquariums and stuff. I like reading and actually learning different things, and I like sightseeing. There's nothing. I don't know. I just love traveling, but it's definitely a good getaway. But I could just get away locally and just shut down. So, but
Yeah,
I just feel like if I, um, there's this thing about doctors. They try to say that women have postpartum depression for like they say it's typically 9 months, but that's like bullshit to me because first of all, every woman is different, and I like to think that women have postpartum for life. Because once you become a child, once you become a mother, it's a love that you never known before, and it's a worry that you never known before. It's totally different. And I mean, if you have that order of like the man and woman, and you're both in the same household taking care of the child, I'm not saying that that's going to always be easy every single day, because two human beings, no matter how much you love each other and live with each other, you're still going to be different at the end of the day. But it's structure. The way that, like me for example, the way I'm operating, I don't like it. And the fact that I'm growing and changing and I'm seeing everything in front of my own eyes, um, and that my child is in two different households, it messes with me every day, and it shows, and it really shows. And that's one area that a lot of women can relate. And when you go through that as a woman, as a mother, you're trying to balance the two. You're trying to balance, how to be a woman that's complete, within yourself, taking care of yourself, but you're also trying to juggle and balance how to be a mother, and it's not easy. That's why, like the other day, I shared a story, for instance, and I was like, get married first and then have a child, and do it the right way. And make sure that you have somebody that you guys are similar. You think the same way, you have the same morals, same values, and all of that. And because that's essential. If you don't do it that way, it's a recipe for disaster. And I think that with the culture and everything, and I'm not just talking about black women. I'm just talking about women in America. The excessive freedom and the culture and technology and all these, lack of culture from the original culture of being together, being a community and stuff like that. I think that since all of that's been lost in transit, not all, that's too strong to say, but just the way that the newer days have been, we don't have that community, like love thy neighbor and all these things, and men and women are not loving each other. It's a war. It's literally tug of war between man and woman. So I always say all the time, like in every community, whether it's in a ethnic community, or whether it's in that one neighborhood in America, whether it's in the South or up north, if you can have strong neighborhoods, strong communities with strong men and women, you're going to have strong children. But everything is like divided right now, and it's hard when you're a single mother, especially like to the woman that is thinking, oh, I'm just going to have a child, we're going to have we're going to have the gender reveal, we're going to have the photo shoot, we're going to, and you're in a toxic relationship with a man. And I know my story was like, I was with my daughter's father for 4 years. We conceived 2 years into the relationship, and at that point in my life, marriage wasn't. I was one of those. I was when I was in my younger 20s. I was just like, oh, a man doesn't have to marry me, and or it's just a piece of paper. It's just for the government to be in our. That's how I used to think when I was young, and I made a huge mistake. So it wasn't a priority, so therefore it wasn't like that has to be first, thinking of back then compared to what I know now. Um and there are a lot of women that make those mistakes as well, unfortunately. And but like we can't blame the men. That sense of being nurturing, you're supposed to be nurturing no matter what your circumstances, because your child needs you at the end of the day, and that's number one.
let me read this to you.
Hmm.
Let me see what you think about this. It says, it is good. It said, exhort you, I exhort therefore that first of all, supplication, prayer, intercessions, and thanks and giving of thanks be made for all men, for kings, and for all that are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life in all goodliness and honesty. For this is good and acceptable in the sight of God our Savior, who will have all men to be saved and come into the knowledge of the truth. For there is one God, one mediator between God and man, the man Jesus Christ, who gave himself a ransom for all, to be testified in due time, whereunto I am ordained a preacher and an apostle. I speak the truth in Christ, and I lie not, a teacher of the Gentiles in faith and truth. I would therefore that men pray everywhere, lifting up holy hands without wrath and doubting. In like manner also, in like manner to what? In like manner to everything I just read, also that women adorn themselves modest in modest apparel with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair or gold or pearls or costly attire, but with good works. So it says to array yourself not with like good hair and jewelry, but with good works. Let the women learn in silence with all subjection, but I allow not a woman to teach, nor usurp the authority over a man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing, if they continue in faith and love and holiness with sobriety. What do you think about that last thing I just said? I just read about she shall be saved in childbearing.
If they continue to do right
If
and
they
bonded
if they
together,
continue in faith, if they continue in faith
it,
and charity and holiness with sobriety.
I wish it would work that way. You know, I really do. I really wish it would work that way.
You wish what would work that way?
Like to the ending of what you just said, like if they're, pretty much if they like after she reproduces, she's surviving in that phase of her life, and if her and the man that she reproduces with, they could just bond and stick together eternally, like no matter what. But that's me, that's wishful thinking, but who's to say that's going to happen? And I'm just saying that like in today's climate, like with just, I don't know. I mean, I wish for that in multiple. I really do. But
Yeah, I always wondered that what it means to be saved by childbearing, and I think I think it means to be made whole.
yeah, I mean, initially, when that's what I'm saying, like goes back to what I said in the beginning, like when you have a child, it's a love you've never known before. Right there as a woman, when you're on the hospital bed, you're with your baby, it's just an experience you never had before. Because
Okay,
all we all tell each other that, like, you know, uh like if it's like three women, they're talking, they're out together or something like that, and let's say two women out of the four have children, they're just explaining like, oh my god, like now I understand what other women or my mother or my grandmother was telling me, like this is a love you've never known. Like it's I don't know.
okay. Let me ask this, because I always say this because this and I'm just a person. I'm just a person with an opinion. I'm just a man with an opinion, a handsome man with an opinion, but a man nonetheless. So I always say that women don't know how to love and men do. But women only learn how to love. Women don't know how to love until they have a child. They they only know true love once they have a child. What do you think about that?
That's why it's best to get married and then have a child, because we're saying that that's the man's seed. So how can there not be love for the man too, coming from that woman? That is, like, you gotta love the man and his child.
Do you know what a
You don't.
you know the you know you know what a black widow is? You know what a
What,
black
black?
is? A black widow spider.
Huh? The
You
spider.
know you know why it's called a black widow, right?
Explain.
It's called a black widow because she eats her mate as soon as they mate.
Okay. I think yeah, I heard of that before.
Yeah. So a lot of these women today are black widows. They just want the man for his seed.
Yes.
So they can have the baby and say, hey, I have a child, I'm a mom, look at me. It's some kind of sick, it's some kind of sick goddess thing that they, I don't know. Hold on, let me deal with this question right quick. Can I ask the question if you guys know which pharaoh enslaved the Hebrews? Read the works of Josephus. It has that in there. And where did Jesus go during those missing years in the Bible? Well, here's the thing about those quote unquote missing years. If you read the Old Testament, David became king around, I think, around age, he was anointed the king around age 12. And then he he became king. He was he was consummate, what they call it, he was coronated king at age 30. So Jesus was the second David. He was the greater David. So it talks about his birth. And if you look in the Bible is filled with miraculous births, with births of women that were barren or could not conceive or whatever. You look at Sarah. So that's why it talks about his birth, because it was like the pinnacle of a miraculous birth. Some people don't believe in the virgin birth, but I'm not gonna go into all that. And then it talks about it talks about him at the age of 12. Many of the other prophets, it talked about them. It talked about how they started, and they were all really young men, 12 years old. Same with David. And then it talks about when Jesus came into his, to his people at the age of 30, just like King David did. So so the reason I say all that, those other years really didn't matter. He was just learning. He was just learning the word of God, and he was learning his trade. And at 12 years old, a boy became a man in those days. But none of that mattered because he wasn't really. In fact, he didn't even get the Holy Spirit until he was 30 years old. So whatever he did from that point until he came into a ministry really didn't matter. So I don't know if that answers your question. I don't know if you're happy with that answer, but that's just my answer to that question. All right, so back to motherhood. So what I'm saying is, so you already said that the woman should love the man and his child, but what I'm saying is
And I think
a man.
marriage helps with that. I'm just saying, when I think in hindsight, like, just being a whole union together, it has to be right. Like, you have to, as a woman and man, you have to genuinely love each other before you reproduce. It can't just be like a one night stand, or it can't just be, like, what's like Blueface and Krishan. It can't be like these toxic relationship. It has to be solid.
Okay, so in the Bible, Jesus said that there's no greater love than this, that a man dies for his friends. So in that male female dynamic, there are roles. Nature has its own constructs. That's what people don't understand. And these quote unquote gender roles, they suit these constructs that nature has. So a man will die for his woman, and he will even tell his woman to stay alive, so she can find another man and go have more children. He will tell his woman that. I have not met a woman that would willingly do that for a man, that would die
He
for her man.
said, "Damn it, I missed your answer. Can you say it
Just
again?"
watch the replay, brother. Just watch the replay. I've never met a woman that would willingly die for a man, but she will die for her children. She will put her life on the line for her children and not even think anything of it. So so that's what I'm saying. I don't think that women understand true love until they have a child. That's what I mean. Because there's a lot of times where you're with a woman, and in her mind, she says she loves you, and she's all crazy about you. But when it's time to do the hard things for you, unless her feelings are in it, she's not gonna do it. But for a man will do it because he loves according to duty, even when he
I
doesn't
don't
want to
see
do
that no
things.
more. Like men don't try anymore, and a certain percentage. Um, I just think that a lot of us, both men and women, we operate from a place of having like a conditioned response. So good women put the good guys through hell, and good men put the bad women. I mean, sorry, but good men put the good women through hell. There's no balance on each side, right?
I don't believe
At this tug
that's
of war, we're both dragging each other into the mud.
no. I think okay, so it all starts with the man. I'll be the first to say that, but women have no discernment. I was telling my homeboy the other day. I said that fathers should pick their daughters' husbands, and he was like, "No." I was like, "This is how it's been throughout history. We live in a culture where everything is so just loose, and it wasn't even always like this in our
That
culture.
sounds like telling women not to vote. It sounds like a similar aspect.
If it works, it works. How good have y'all done in picking y'all's husbands?
Largely, I don't think so. Not good.
Not good.
Not on a
Hold
large scale.
on. Let me address this. It says, okay, I don't think we understand that Christianity was birthed in Egypt. No, it wasn't. It was not birthed in Egypt.
Where was it?
All no, it's not. No, 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 like no, like no. I don't. No, I'm not. I'm
Where was it?
not. You can DM me. You can DM me. I'm not gonna get distracted by that. But that's cool. I can be wrong. I can be wrong. That's cool. But I'm not gonna address all that now.
You're wrong, brother.
I'm not even going to address that. You know, the term Egypt, you know, it means the house of Ptah. You know, and you know the actual word Egypt, the Hebrew word Egypt is Mizraim. You know, the land between the rivers or something like that. So, you know, yeah, exactly. You said what? Yeah, you don't know. You don't know what I'm saying. So it's Kemet. It's the land. You know? Do you know the word Kim and the word Ham are the same word? The word Kim and Ham are the exact same word. Kim is the. All right, look, I'm not about to go back and forth with you on that. Just DM me and we'll chop it up about it. But
Speaking of Kemi, the rapper Nas, like
no,
I'm just being.
no, we're not gonna talk about Kim. We're not talking about Kim.
No, I'm not
No.
talking about Kemet. I'm talking about. It just reminded me the other day I shared, you know, with the UK, how the South Asians and the Middle Easterns are taking over, like you know, Ireland, Scotland, the prime ministers and everything like that. And I attached it to this song by Nas. It's called Nobody, and it's a song that he released 2 years ago on the King Disease Part Two album. And he says one city. Wait, what does he say? He said, basically, one city, one place to be nobody, a place you wouldn't know probably. Do you think that's him promoting communism, or do you
I
think
don't.
that he subconsciously is just like, because he's a rich person himself, he's just saying like, um, I, you know, I just wish I could wake up and just kind of be a normie instead of. It's
You know the
funny how the
last Nas.
words could, because the words could be translated either which way, but he really said one city, one country, one place. I mean, when yeah, why am I losing the words right now? But it's just one place to be nobody.
You know the last Nas album I listened to was Godson, and that came out in '03.
So that was that.
I don't listen to any of these guys. I just don't I don't know. I couldn't reference it. I have to listen to the song.
Yeah, it's him featuring Lauren Hill.
But um okay, so what we talking about? We're talking about not knowing the love until you become a mother. You would die for your
Yes.
kid though, right? And that's what I'm talking about. You wouldn't die for your man though, would you?
Who? The ghost?
Yeah, yeah, you wouldn't die for the ghost. I'm
You
just
know, I have
playing.
to. For me, I just have to get to that place of like I'm with a man and he makes me feel safe. Like, I just have to get there.
Yeah, but you just said it right there.
Until
Death
until
is not.
until then, I'm Rough Riders for life.
No, but I'm saying death is not safe.
Yeah,
So
fuck, like,
if okay, so let's say we're together, right? And I make you feel safe. That means I'm assuming the confrontation of danger, so you won't have to. You get what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
So if I succumb to that danger, I'm dead. So I
No.
died for you, but you want me to make you feel safe. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that it's y'all's wiring to really just to really know what love is. Brother, please stop. It says Africa's from Egypt. Stop, man. I said we can we can DM. We can talk about that. I'm not trying to get distracted by that. All right, let's see. We're talking about irrelevant stuff, relationship. Okay, if it's irrelevant, just turn to another stream. Anyway, but
Where's Angel Wings to tell him to get out?
no, he can stay.
Just
He can
playing.
stay. Look, he can stay. He can stay. It's my fault. It's my fault. I'm getting distracted. But okay. So basically, you're saying that you think you'd be a better mother if you had a man.
At this point, yeah.
You know how many men out there go get a man? do you think?
Maybe,
Do you think
maybe,
that's easy?
maybe I'm in the wrong. Maybe I'm stubborn. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm too
I'm just playing.
scared. No,
I'm just.
I'm
Oh
just being,
yeah.
no,
I agree. A lot y'all are filled with fear. A lot of women are filled with
is that
fear. Like it's not even.
abnormal to you?
You
Is
said
that
what?
abnormal to you? That I'm filled with fear?
No, I
Or
didn't
not
say.
me
I
personally?
said a lot of.
Yeah,
I said a lot of women.
yeah.
A lot of women are filled with fear, and
Is that abnormal?
I don't know. I've only been around for 37 years, so I I don't I don't know. I wrote down.
Sorry, I'm just laughing. This guy. Sorry.
I wrote
All love.
down.
I'm just a high spirited
No,
African.
stop reading it. Stop reading the comments. Stop reading the comments. Stop reading the comments. Look, he cool people. He's good people. He good people. He just wants to learn. He just wants to converse. That's cool. I like conversing as well. So golly, I forgot what I just asked. Oh yeah. About about golly, what was I saying? About fear, women being fearful. Yeah.
And I think I do operate in fear a lot of the times, as much as I don't want to admit it, but I think that's what gives me like anxiety and always like worried. So I
Well,
always
I'll
think
say
like
this.
that's why I always think like, I talk to you, I want to get away from where I'm at. And then it's so weird because I done fell out with so many people where I'm at and we done cut each other off. And sometimes I have this back and forth in my mind. Speaking of being stubborn, I'm like, am I being mean? Am I like, I don't know. It's just
Well, I'll say
a weird
this.
feeling.
Fear. What is fear? Fear is worrying about what you don't know.
Unknown. Hmm.
So, but what if you knew? You wouldn't fear. You prepare, right?
Yeah.
So, why don't you know? Why don't you take steps to know?
How do you do that?
Well, I'll tell you this: the future is not hard to predict. All you gotta do is look at the present.
Uh,
Life is
What's
very.
the present in conjunction with the future? With the future?
If I spent today with you, I can probably tell you how tomorrow's gonna go for you, just on what you did today. Life is very predictable. So, with that said, read the Bible. Then you'll know. You'll understand life because the Bible is a book of promises and consequences. If you do this, this will happen. If you do this, if you do that, that will happen. So when people say just have faith, I'm like, have faith in what? You can only have faith according to what you know. It's the Bible says like faith comes by hearing and hearing the word of God. So that's where you replace that fear. if there's when you like if you're with a man that you trusted, you wouldn't have much fear, would you? You wouldn't move in fear because you trust him. You know he got everything taken care of, right?
Be wrong to do that.
Hold on, you
I
cut
cut off.
off. Yeah, say that again.
So if I'm saying that if I have a man and I know that everything will be going right, I can relax and stuff like that. Does that mean I'd be putting too much trust into a man? And is that wrong?
It depends on what the spiritual makeup of the man is. If the man is following God,
Mm-hmm.
then you're doing right. The man has to be following God though, but you have to know what it looks like to follow God. So that's why you have to know. You have to know the word. You have to know. God gave all the believers the Spirit of God. So the Spirit of God will lead you into the all truth. The Spirit of God will teach you.
That's true. I think I'm
So
also doing my part in the flesh. I just said a few minutes ago that I'm being stubborn. I'm being very particular about who I date, or I think I'm doing my part on that end, and I think I'm doing a good job.
well, the flesh wars against the spirit.
It
So
really does. But and
like
I think I'm a woman of willpower, and I think I'm um, holding out the right way.
I'm gonna tell you like this: you get around the right person, your willpower is gonna be tested. I
And
don't.
I think exactly, and I just think
You just don't see any suitable options around
I
you.
think that's what it is.
Yeah, because I done had plenty of women say they're celibate, and that didn't last too long. And
So
I respected it. I was like, okay, you know. So, but next thing know, you know. Anyway, so so as a daughter, what what do you appreciate about your mother now that you are a mother?
um, her hard work and sacrifice.
Well, I'm saying, like, do you see any of yourself in her as far as being a mother? Do you see any of yourself in her, any of her in you?
No,
No. Okay. Well, I remember when I was a kid. Sometimes my mom would be mean. She was really mean, and now that I'm grown, I understood why she was mean. She was going through a cycle and all that. So I think that's the importance of a man to come and take the kids and be like, okay, let's leave mommy alone right now. Let's let her get through whatever she's going through.
I don't
So
know. I see my father in me.
I mean, that's all right. That's all right.
I don't know.
That's
I don't know. Like I see. I don't. I don't know. If I go into details, it's gonna sound so. I don't know.
nah, that's cool. That's cool. I don't want to take you nowhere that you ain't trying to go. But but yeah, I just think that motherhood is frowned down upon. What's so funny?
I keep reading the high spirit African thing, and I'm just
Yeah, I mean that's cool. Let the brother rock. Let him rock. I'm not a hater. You know what I'm saying? I just let people rock out. But I said but again because I keep losing my train of thought. So
I know I'm gonna go to his page after this live is done.
don't.
Because but he says
I
he's African. I want to make sure he's African. He's not Black American.
mean it's the same thing to him.
I know.
So I mean if
So
I
when
mean
he
shit.
says
If
all love, I'm just a high spirited African.
look
Sorry. You
if
better
if
you better
Rachel
be
don't-
from Uganda and one of those other 54 countries.
if
Af-
if Rachel don't if Rachel Dolezal can be black, then he can be African.
that's true.
So let
That's true.
let that man rock out. But
That is
so
so true.
so I think that the feminist mindset is antithetical to the maternal instinct of women because the feminist programming makes you think everything is about you. I want to have a child for me so I can say I'm a mom or and then
Than
I can
the
post
reality when
yeah, then I can post pictures on social media. They don't understand that child is a living, breathing soul. That needs the mother, especially in that early part of life.
Do I give you
So
feminist vibes the way I talk?
nah,
I don't.
nah. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that offline. We'll talk about that offline. But
I don't give aggressive.
we'll talk about that
No.
offline. We'll talk about that offline. Yeah, but I said but again. I gotta stop saying that. I think that the feminism has cooked the minds of young women. If you even look at the Black Lives Matter thing, everything was about being black and black being so superior, but yet these women don't want to birth children. The most quote unquote revolutionary thing you can do is to have more children. That's the most powerful thing you can do as a woman. Get with a quote unquote black man and birth more children. But these confused hags are fighting for the right to terminate their pregnancy. And then they're calling it healthcare. These minds are cooked. And it's a shame because who suffers at the end? We all suffer.
Yeah, everyone.
Feminism hurts everybody because now young men are just like, what is
What's
the
there
point of
for
me?
me? Like, I mean,
Exactly,
from a young man's perspective, yeah.
exactly.
The
Because
layest age you
what
think a woman should reproduce?
you said,
What's
what?
the latest age that you think a woman could reproduce? Not like, let's say if a woman is 48 and has a child, what do you think of that? Do you get into the numbers and the age of a woman? Because I know you've talked about the reproductive health and a healthy mother, and so I just wanted to connect that. And like, you don't get caught up into the age, do you?
Nah, you having a child is a beautiful thing. You know, if you have a child at
Yeah,
60, that's a beautiful thing.
yeah.
That was just the
I
time.
know in the Caribbeans, like the woman, you got women in the Caribbeans in certain like Latin American regions, for instance, like they'd be like 50, 60 years old. All
Yeah.
the
Well,
coconuts and beans and all those healthy foods and stuff. It's like their organs are to them or let's,
no, stop reading.
okay,
Stop reading.
okay. I didn't read it. I'm not reading anything.
Stop reading it. You read it.
No,
That's
I
why you laughing.
didn't. All I saw was all evidence. That's it. I didn't see anything else. No evidence for me. I didn't see anything.
Anyway, so
I didn't see nothing for
what
the
we
African brother.
look
But I'm
what we
saying, I know in the Caribbeans, a lot of women out there, they could be like 50, 60 years old, reproducing easy.
yeah,
I
because
want to
they're
say the food, I want to say the resources, it's just in America, oh, it's so crazy. Like family is still big in other countries, you know what I'm saying? But like in America, I've even heard people talk to me, people that come, some of them are from Europe, some of them are from Africa or Latin America, etc. And I've seen people talk to me that they've lived their life in whatever country they was born in and they've been here. They and I'm talking about the people that they appreciate America, but at the same time, when they think about happiness back in their home, like without the money, without the status that they have here, they're just sometimes they're just like America. It's like you have to work and you have to survive, and you have to work to live, and you can't just eat to live or just you can't just be healthy and have a balance and stuff like that the way they do in other countries. Um, and I'm telling you, women in the Caribbean, like they reproduce up like I don't even think there's numbers to how old a woman should be, but here the doctors are telling you in America, like once you're 35, you know, your chances of reproducing, let alone your overall reproductive health, declines. And I just can't get around that. I just don't believe that. I don't think every woman's body is the same.
yeah, that's absolutely stupid. What we perceive as youth is just good health. That's that's all. What is the difference between the Caribbean and the United States? They have natural food.
Food, yes, the
So
food,
it's not
the
killing
lack of
them.
additives.
Yeah, their food is not killing them. Their food is not making them infertile.
No,
No, the men have higher
exactly.
testosterone, but yet and still, just imagine this, okay? You're 17 years old and you're married. You're at the peak of your fertility, 17 years old, and you're married, and you have a job. Your husband has a job, and y'all buy a house 10 years later. So y'all 27. Y'all buy a house on 5 acres, and y'all start growing y'all's own food, and y'all are not in debt, and y'all are living a good life. Do you think that's gonna be stressful?
It depends. No, not for the most part.
And my point is that our our perception on what success is all skewed. I know mine was when I was 18. I was watching too much. I was watching Rap City. I was watching I was watching MTV Cribs and all that nonsense. No, really, really. Because back then, if you said something like "I grow my own food," like I remember my dad planted a garden in our backyard, and I was just like, man, why is he planting a garden? Like, just go to the store. But now I think it's the coolest thing. Like my dad was a hell of a dude. Not saying was. My dad's still alive. My dad's a hell of a dude. My dad has a lot of skills, a
No,
lot of
you're just
things that
saying
he just knows.
that as long you saying he's always been that way ever since you can remember. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. He took the time to dig a garden and to tend to the soil, and he used to drag me out there with him, and I hated it because it was just boring. But I appreciate it now.
Yeah.
Now I, I see that it's something that you can
What was some
do. Like we
of the
planted.
things that he taught you? Like, was it like planting and farming?
No, he didn't really teach it. He didn't really teach it to me. He just made me tag along with him, and I would watch him do things. Like I remember one of my friends, he had took me home from basketball practice, and he had ran into our mailbox, and our mailbox collapsed. So I had to, me and my dad, we rebuilt our
Oh
mailbox.
wow.
So that's that. When our fence blew down, when the storm blew down our fence, me and my dad, we rebuilt the fence. So it's just these things like that. He wasn't teaching me, but he was showing me that, yeah, you can do this. So that's why now I kind of do everything by myself. When my fence was when the HOA was telling me I have to fix my fence, I rebuild my fence. I fix my own cars now. I do everything. That's why I'm just like, man, I need to hurry up and get married because I'm gonna run myself into the ground. Because if I got to do the work outside and inside the house, like
Oh, you about to?
half the time,
You're literally about to fix the roof yourself too?
hell no, hell no. I'm gonna get a. It's funny because I actually sell roofs. I do door to door roofing sales. So I know how to do all that. I
No,
know how to get it done. But I
you
ain't
hustle. Come up to New York.
do
Hustle.
what? No, I can hustle down here and keep my money. I ain't trying to pay that 50% income tax. Like y'all can keep that.
Go look at the pyramids in South America.
Stop, 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 stop it. But but
Oh,
yeah,
I need to grow up.
now it's all cool. We all got a little kid in us, but I think that I think that women need to get back to being their natural selves because I think a lot of women today are unhappy because they're not being women. They're not doing. They're going against their nature, so they're miserable. They're constantly conflicted, and but it starts with the men.
I think
Uh,
I think I fall in that category. But I don't but thankfully I don't have hate. There's no um I'd like to think I'm very nurturing towards my daughter, because my daughter, she could talk to me about anything, and I think that means a lot. Like that she's comfortable, she can talk to me about anything. And see, the funny thing about me and my daughter is, oh God, as much as I think my daughter is different than me, because when I look at her, I see her as a boss, I see her as like everything. I think she's just like me too. It's very scary. But everybody,
Yeah,
like even fathers go through that. Like if a father has a son and he sees like his son has certain traits, just like it's like reflective. It's very scary. I don't know how to explain it, but me and her, it's like if she does certain things that's just like me, I'm like, oh shoot. And it's just like I don't know. I just think that in many ways, even though we're different, because I want her to have her own individual, you know, way of thinking and her own style and her own way of doing things, but she definitely has me and her like emotional wise. And that's what I'm saying. Like if she sees me more happy and don't get me wrong, my daughter is very she's very creative, very when she goes through stuff, she knows how to snap out of it better than I do. She's better than me in that area. But I'm just saying, just to supplement things, I just feel like if she would see me more happier, it would just be better all in all for the both of us. She sees me more relaxed and she sees me more because she knows something is off about me, and I hate that. I mean,
well,
who doesn't know that about me? But whatever.
well, think I think that women need to understand that even even if the man is not the richest guy in the world, they're better off with him
I told you
because a man.
that last week.
I didn't disagree. I didn't disagree because a man brings so much more to the table than money.
That's what Betty Wright said. She says some type of man is better than no man at all, and I
I,
agree with her.
I don't agree with that.
No,
I don't agree with
but
that.
isn't that along the same lines of what you're
No,
saying? No, but
not at all.
I, listen, I'm not talking about the degenerates and stuff like that. That's not even on my caliber. But actually, she was talking about a cheating man, wasn't she? When you think about the lyrics, but I don't know. I'm single, so what the hell?
I don't even know who that is. I don't even know who you're referring to.
Betty
But
Wright,
who was that?
the singer,
Oh,
the clean up
oh,
woman
the
who has
cleaner
good
woman.
night,
Yeah, I thought you said Betty White.
huh?
I thought you said Betty
No, I
White.
said Betty Wright.
Yeah, yeah, the cleaner woman. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
the way
Nah, that's
do you hear her music and how she speaks on men?
yeah, but she was speaking it from a place of heartbreak.
Well, that's usually the best type of music.
Ah, I
The
mean
way it's
it's real,
produced, exactly.
it's
It's
real,
real.
but I that's you, you got to ask yourself why was she heartbroken? Because of lack of discernment.
You did just say
Y'all,
that a
y'all,
little while ago. You said that certain women lack discernment.
no, I didn't say certain. I said a lot of women. I said a lot.
Oh, you think
I
it's all?
didn't say that. I said a lot, not all, not
I know. I
most.
tell you what,
Many.
I've been begging for discernment since 2018, and I've come such a long way. I tell you that much. Because I can admit that I lack discernment. It goes into you know how you talk about like you think that it's necessary for fathers to pick out like a woman's husband, and how you and other men talk about like women shouldn't vote. It falls into like
I
it's the
never,
same the discernment.
I never said
Women
what.
don't have the same.
I never said that. I never said that. You said
But
that, not me.
what I'm saying is it goes into that category of like you and other men. I'm not saying like, whether it's just what's it called? Arranged marriages and should women vote, that whole those two categories. Isn't that based around the lack of discernment within women that a man typically has? Like, better judgment. Isn't that what that's all about? Because I'm actually here trying to give y'all the benefit of the doubt. And
Okay, hold on. Let's break it down topic by topic. So are you
that's the
saying
same thing. A woman shouldn't vote
okay?
and her husband should
Hold
get
on.
and her father should pick her husband. It's the same
I'm slow.
aspect.
I'm slow. So
No,
you
you're
gotta bear with.
not.
Yeah, I am. So you're when it comes to a father picking a woman's husband, is
Mm-hmm.
that because she has no discernment? Is that what you're asking me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now let's move to the other
A
thing.
woman
That
not being
women shouldn't not being able to vote
is that
because she lacks discernment. No, that's not no. The reason why I say that most people, man or woman, shouldn't vote is because they don't understand that their vote has consequences. Cause I even said that if a woman has a business or she's a landowner, she should be able to vote because now she has skin in the game. She understands the
The
consequences of
losses
her
and the
vote.
gains.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
yes,
serious.
yeah. So just what I was
You did
reading
say that.
earlier, yeah. So just like I was reading earlier about those bills and them passing those bills and nobody having any clue what's in the bills or having any say about those bills getting passed, that's what I mean.
You did say that.
So you got all these goofy people running around talking about vote this, vote that. They don't even understand the implications of what they're voting for and how it's going to affect them and their children. So that's why I say that everybody shouldn't vote, men or women. And that's so pathetic that a lot of men don't even have the foresight to see that their vote it could be a national security threat.
When they asked Boozy why should he vote for RFK because he's a candidate, is that the type of stuff that you're talking about? Like,
That's the stuff I'm talking
and
about.
that's a
Because
whole that's a man.
if we live in the kind of society to where these people are advocating, people like Boosie they wouldn't have any money. They wouldn't. So in order to vote, you have to understand the system and how it works. You got to understand the inner workings and all that. And I think that that's something a man should do. Women typically don't really care. Women usually conform to the man that they follow. But